I'm Divija. Welcome back to my channel. So, I was home in India a few months ago visiting family, and when I returned, I brought back this big stack of books with me. Yeah, my luggage had less of clothes and more of books. So, I'm from Hyderabad. So, when I was living back home in India, my dad and I we used to have this ritual of going to the secondhand bookstalls every weekend, and I used to buy a bunch of books. So this time also I did the same. Here's a sneak peek into the street book shopping happening in Koti, Hyderabad every Sunday. My goal this time was to find Telugu and Hindi language books. I'm finding many translations like from English to Telugu but not direct Telugu. There are a few but I can't find what I'm looking for. This entire area is books. Stretch of this entire area, all of these places, it's a long stretch of second-hand books. When I was just about to leave, I found one Telugu book. It's called Vijayaniki Aidu Metlu. 5 Steps to Success is the translation. But I did find a few Hindi books, but not the ones that I need. And the Telugu, I'm gonna order online. Yeah, because the books that I want are not here. In the process of stopping multiple times for street book shopping, we entered a bookstore. This is a very old, I think also a rare bookstore. So this is actually my heaven. See. So these are 18 books. I brought 5 English and 13 Telugu books with me. So let me show you what I brought. So the first one is called Ghachar Guchar. I've been wanting to read a Hindi book for a while, and every Hindi bookstagrammer that I look at, they've been recommending this book. But when I bought it is when I realized that this is not a Hindi book. This is actually a Kannada book translated to English. So I've heard great reviews about this book. It's apparently a very great story. Next book is Palace of Illusions by Chitra Banerjee. This is Mahabharata written from Draupadi's perspective. That's it. I'm sold. I brought this book. I wanted to read it. And this book cover is a real place in Rajasthan. I don't know where it is. I saved it on Instagram and I really want to go visit this place after I read the book, of course. The next book is Heart Lamp. This was the 2025 International Booker Prize winner. This was originally written in Kannada and translated to English. This is a very proud moment for every Indian and Indian reader. So this is a must read, I would say. I have not read it yet, but I'm really looking forward to. So the next book is Never Logged Out by Riya Chopra. So I've been following Riya Chopra on Instagram for a few years. She is a content creator talking about very relevant topics. She is a writer, columnist as well, and this is her first book. And at the back of it says, "One day we logged onto the internet and then we never logged out." So this is about how internet has taken over our lives, has taken control over our lives, and especially with social media, our lives have been affected by it, and how we are all chronically online, doom scrolling, and how it's affecting our lifestyles in general. So the next one is Days at the Morizaki Bookshop. This is actually a gift from my cousin. This book is the first Japanese novel I've ever read. My cousin, she even left a small message here. It says, hoping that you have not yet explored Japanese authored novels or Japan, the country itself. Every book lets the reader travel the country through its text, descriptions of the place, culture, and people. Hope you travel a new place through this book. And she also had a bunch of other suggestions of Japanese novels. And I did read this book. This is a very pleasant, light-hearted read. When I first read this book, I was reading it before bed. And, I like to believe that a narration of a book is equivalent to screenplay of a movie. You know how screenplay of a movie lets the audience hook to the movie? Similarly, narration is what makes the reader hooked to the reading. When I first read this book right before bed, I was tired and just about to go to bed. The kind of calmness that I felt when I read this book, it made me realize that this is not a late night read or a bedtime read. I have to be awake late in the morning or in the afternoon. Only that way I'll be able to appreciate the book better when I'm like fully awake. That's the essence of it, because this is a very calming read. So I wanted to fully enjoy it while I was fully awake. So ever since then, I only read this book late in the afternoon when I was like wide awake, and I really enjoyed it. The way this book is narrated, it was just very calming. I felt very good reading this book. This is very quick read. It only has, I think, 160 pages. Okay, so these are all the five English books that I brought back with me. Now let's move on to the Telugu books. So before getting into that, the reason I started reading Telugu books is because, of course, I'm a Telugu girl. But ever since I was a kid, I was only reading like non-details or textbooks that were given to us in school. And I never read a Telugu novel being a Telugu girl. I've only read English. I speak three languages: English, Telugu, Hindi, and also Tamil, but I can't read and write in Tamil. So that's a different thing. I can only speak. So, all the three languages that I can read, write, and speak in, I wanted to read books written in those languages. Hindi is a yet to read thing, but I started reading Telugu books. My first ever Telugu novel that I read was last year. I read Vennello Adapilla, written by Endamuri Veerindranath Garu. So he is a very renowned Telugu writer. Based on internet suggestions, some books that my followers recommended, my dad, my uncle, my grandfather, all my family recommended. So I brought back with me 13 Telugu books. So let me show you what they are. So the first three books are written by Endamuri Veerindranath Garu. So the first Telugu book that I read, like I said, is written by him. Before even reading his books, I've watched a lot of his books that were made into movies, and I really enjoyed the story. So I thought I'll start with his books. I decided that before really getting into like the hardcore Telugu literature, which involves a lot of difficult language or like the actual literary language, which is very new to this generation, to me, like everybody, I decided that it would be better if I started with the simpler language and then get into like the hardcore Telugu literature. So the three books that I picked are Prema, Anaitikam, and Vijayaniki Aidu Metlu. So these two books I picked up when I was at a Telugu language bookstore. The shopkeeper suggested. And this is something I've heard of a lot of times before from my family or in interviews that I've watched of Telugu celebrities. So I picked this from the secondhand bookstore. Okay, so the next two books were recommended to me by my followers on Instagram. One is Asamardhuni Jivita Yatra by Gopi Chand, and the other is Chivaraku Migiledi by Buchi Babu Garu. These two apparently are very deep and also with like simpler language. So I'm looking forward to reading these. Somebody actually said that once you have read Asamardhuni Jivita Yatra, you wouldn't be the same person. So it's going to transform you or destroy you, something like that. So I'm looking forward to reading it. So the next book is Dhira Samire Ganga Tire. So this is written by a contemporary novelist, Ravi Mantri. I've read his first book, Amma Darilo Koni Pejilu, and that was such a beautifully written book. Don't even know how the second book is going to be, but I was pretty sure that it would be great, so I picked the second one. I'm yet to read a lot of these books, I know, but I will read them soon. The next one is a little different from the contemporary novels that I picked. This is Kanya Sulkam by Gurja Dapparao Garu. So Kanya Sulkam, what it means is, so we are all aware of dowry. What dowry is? It's an asset given to the groom's family by the bride's family. Kanya Sulkam is exactly the opposite of it. You know how back in those days, a lot of child marriages happened. Marrying a 9-year-old or 8-year-old girl child to a 50, 60-year-old man. That man, he died pretty soon, and the girl has been a widow even before she turned 10 years old. So how that happened is, so all these older men, they used to, I think seduction would be a right word. Those older men, they used to seduce the girl child's father with a lot of money, and they used to literally buy the girl from the father. These fathers being very greedy of money, or sometimes out of poverty and desperation. So they used to just get their baby girls married to these older men. No, actually, old men, not even older. So that is what Kanya Sulkam is all about. This talks about a social evil. This book created a lot of sensation. This was actually made into a movie. I watched that movie a couple of times. It had a great cast of actors. You know how people always talk about their favorite Savitri Garu's role as Maya Basar Shashireka. But for me, is a character that she portrayed called Madhuravani. That was a character from this book. So that's my most favorite Savitri Garu's character. The next two are written by Yadanapudi Sulochana Rani Garu, and it's Meena, parts 1 and 2. If anybody who has watched Samantha's so this is the exact same story. Before even was made, Vijay Nirmala Garu made her directorial debut making this book, Meena. I think she was the one who acted in it as well. But I'm pretty sure story is going to be a little similar, but basic storyline is going to be the same. And of course, book is going to be much detailed. So I want to give this a read. So the next four books that I brought with me are written by Malladi Venkata Krishnamurthy Garu. There are four books, but there was this one book that I already read, and this is one of the worst books that I read in my life. There is absolutely no story development, no character development, nothing. This book entirely talks about infidelity, and it's very misogynistic. This book is called Shravanti. I'm usually not a person who gives away spoilers or storylines or anything, but I just want to give you a gist of this book so that nobody ever reads this book. This is that bad. So, this is about a married man with two children. He accidentally encounters this woman named Shravanti, and Shravanti seduces him. Both of them have an affair, and the wife, of course, is completely clueless, oblivious of the fact that Shravanti named person even exists in her husband's life. And this person, Shravanti, she teaches him how to have a good sexual life. The author, towards the end, he talks about how men are all the same. They are like kids with very lower level of concentration, like a focus. They are easily distracted, and how it is the wife's moral responsibility, it is her priority, that she makes sure not to let her husband slip away. She has to seduce him, cook him really good meals, and make sure that he remains in her life. I'm not even exaggerating. This is what the author says towards the end. I think it's some acknowledgement section or something about it. I don't remember exactly, but not acknowledgement, but something, the author's note. So this is what he talks about. There is absolutely no story development. This man keeps going to that woman, and every day they have sex in a different way, and that's it. That's what happens from the first chapter towards the end. There is nothing else going on. So I would definitely not recommend reading this book ever. Is one of the worst reads. And the next three are also by Malladi Venkata Krishnamurthy. I think all four of these books were recommended to me by the shopkeeper of that Telugu bookstore that I went to. So one is Bhajagovindam, one is Andamaina Jeevitam, and the other is Oh My God. Andamaina Jeevitam was something that I've uh, seen online somewhere. Maybe somebody recommended to me or something. besides that, everything else is recommended to me by the shopkeeper. So these are all the 18 books that I brought back with me to the US. And in the future, I really hope that I start reading Hindi language books as well. I don't remember reading a Hindi book since school days. So, thank you for watching. I hope you got some recommendations from this video, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.